Welcome to another episode of the YoCoryG show, where I answer all your fitness questions. This is episode 10, and on today's show, I'm going to share with you my 3 things that I know help raise that natural testosterone. Let's go to the questions!
YoCoryG, our first question here comes from Joe. Joe wants to know, what's the biggest part of your daily routine that allows you to train day in and day out as hard as you do?
Hey, what's up, Joe? So I'd say one of the biggest things that allows me to train as hard as I do on a regular basis is actually some things that anybody can do. Big thing is, number 1, hydration. I really believe, and I've talked to many great lifters and just people all over the board in fitness, that if you don't take hydration serious, you just aren't going to feel very good. And I'll be honest that when I'm battling things from time to time in the gym, I'm having what they call the dark ages of my lifting where it doesn't feel so good, I start to think, did I drink a gallon of water that day? I wasn't carrying it around with me? Did it have my supplements in it? Did I have my post-workout for max effort muscle? Like, a lot of times if I just get busy, and everybody gets busy, so it's easy to mess this up. It's actually really easy to mess this up. And so I really think that hydration is a bigger part, and people are more dehydrated than they realize. So I would say that's number 1. I would say number 2 is when your nutrition's in check and your supplements are in check and you're hydrated, you're putting yourself in the best possible environment to be successful in the gym. I think that is a huge, massive part of it. So when I'm drinking my water, I'm taking my pre, my post, I've got my food on lock, I feel good. And that allows me to train properly with intensity. My muscles feel saturated with water, they feel strong, and I can get a good pump, which helps the better blood flow, which makes me feel better. So a lot of those things have to be in line. I believe that in listening to your body. Don't be a wuss. Like, don't give in just because you're tired, but truly listen to your body to try to make sure that you can, get the most out of it. I think that's the big reason why 20 years in the game, I've been able to train at this level and will continue to.
Next question says, YoCoryG, so my gym during the winter doesn't have enough space to do lunges. I was wondering if there is anything else I can do to replace lunges.
So if your gym doesn't have enough room to do lunges in the wintertime, here's what you can do. There's a couple replacements. You can do belt squat walks, and if you don't know what that is, just Google search West Side Barbell Belt Squat, and they're called belt marches or belt squat marches, and really there's a couple different ways you can do them. I mean, you could hook up a belt to an actual cable and do the marches where you're just literally marching in place. You change your feet angles, you change whether they're close, they're wide, and it works your hips. You could lunge in place. You could do belt marches 5 minutes. You could lunge in place 5 minutes. You can lunge on the treadmill. I mean, there's so many different things. Also, look at probably if you don't have room for lunge, probably don't have room for a sled, but that's another option. Try to find, or you could walk on an incline. You could do the step mill for 15 minutes. Try to find something that can work. Get up that work capacity that has a lot to do with your hips, your glutes, your hamstrings, your legs, which will help us look better, feel stronger, be more durable, and just support that iron as these PRs go. So I would say belt squat marches and lunges in place are probably your best bet. After that, I would really look at the step mill if you go to a commercial gym. So that's what I would do.
Next question comes from Drew. YoCoryG, I have read some studies lately that say fasting post-workout is better than taking anything to spike insulin, since it would blunt growth hormone and testosterone. What are your thoughts?
Drew, this is an interesting topic because I've never been the guy that really was into spiking my insulin post-workout, and I'll just tell you why. I will always say that I never really do things on science per se. I do them mostly on application. So I want to preference this kind of next statement with that. There's a lot of people that have talked about eating gummy bears, spiking insulin with protein post-workout. I never felt good doing that, straight up. Like, I felt worse after I did that, not better. I felt worse eating before I worked out rather than fasting pre-workout. I've always done that, except for taking a pre-workout supplement, but it never really had hardly any sugar in it, so it didn't matter. And so, man, honestly, the most I've studied out of all these years, taking branch change post-workout, the reason why me and my team built Max Effort Muscles post-workout with 10 grams of branch chains and 5 grams of glutamine is because from an application standpoint, that's what I felt worked best for our community so we can get these gains. And I'm a fan of spiking your insulin before you go to bed. That's your natural environment where your body's recovering, so let's give it a little bit of help. And so really, in my mind, that's the way to do it.
Last question here. YoCoryG, what are 3 ways to increase your natural testosterone levels?
Lastly, what you guys were all waiting on is my 3 ways that I believe you can spike natural testosterone. Now here's the deal. I've been talking about it forever since I started this game. I'm lifetime drug free. It's really important to me to try to optimize my body as an older athlete. I hate to admit it, but I'm 38 now, as an older athlete in the game, right? And so I think there's a few things that I've ran into over the years that absolutely help this. Honestly, number 1, squatting every motherfucking day helps. I was 13 pounds heavier from photo shoot to photo shoot, within a year and some change of squatting every day. I just can't argue with those results. They were unbelievable. I think that the body, like, if you're a boy, you're about to become a man. If you're already a man, you're about to become more of a man because it beats you down, but it builds you up. Kind of like the Marine Corps, right? They talk about they come in, they beat your ass down, and they build you back up. A similar thing when you squat every day. I believe it's a mental challenge. You have the days where you feel amazing, days where you feel not so amazing. People talk about overtraining. Is that going to drop your hormones? Look, you're working the biggest muscle group to a daily max in a unique variation the way I program. It works really good. I think number 2, a lot of people don't eat enough quality fats. And what's that mean? Avocado, nuts, coconut oil, even quality sources of beef, bison, things that, have salmon, things of that nature. People just don't eat enough fat. People are scared of fat. I don't know where this ever got fucked up at, where they thought it was cool to eat low-fat stuff like in the 80s and early 90s. And low-fat stuff means Twinkies and fucking angel food cake and all that stuff. But people were scared to eat mono and saturated fats and all this stuff, where that's really what your body wants to run on. And so what's interesting is when people elevate their quality fats, they always get, as long as the rest of, they're getting good protein, good vegetables, whatever, that almost always helps raise your testosterone. Rest a little, eat more quality fats. Number 3, I would say is optimizing your carbohydrate intake. I eat mine before bed. Some people eat them post-workout. We talked about that earlier in the show. It really goes on application. Look, if you're a boss and you've been eating carbs post-workout your whole life, then why change it? For me, that never happened well or happened good. So I'm looking at before bed anabolic fasting. That's the whole thing I've been doing for a while now. It just works for me. I mean, I can't say it. It's not just me. It's thousands of people worldwide. And so it's really interesting if you look at as a whole. I'm going to squat every day. I'm going to raise my biggest muscle group. I'm going to focus on it. And you become more of a stronger, just human in general, not just in the squat. Just overall, everything will go up. I think that, optimizing your carb intake when your insulin's raised, your other hormones kind of come with it. So doing that in a proper fashion. And I really just think, like, if you just stay dialed in to these things, they make a massive difference. So you just got done watching the YoCoryG show. If you want me to answer your fitness questions, hit me up, #YoCoryG. And if you need any supplements, you better go to maxeffortmuscle.com.